So I'm back here with Mr. Matthews again. The last time that we were meeting, we talked about you wanting to implement more technology into your classroom. And we discussed that one easy way to do that to start out would be to make Google Forms. And I provided you the link to a modeling video that I created to show you how to do the Google form. You watched it, I'm assuming, created your own Google form, and then pushed that Google form back to me. And I was able to review it to see how you had done. And I want to show you some things here today. First of all, your use of the lock in the beta, the beta update was fantastic. So that was spot on with what we talked about keeping the kids from being able to cheat, because it locks down their screen to where they can't access anything else, which means they can't copy and paste the question and Google the answer. So excellent use of internet security features there. I will say that one thing right here, if I were you, do you see right here? If I were you, I would do last name instead of just name, because STI is alphabetized by last name. So you can quickly sort that by last name A through Z, and then it's in the exact same order that you want to put in your gradebook. I would also encourage you to make a different form for each period. That way you could compare weaknesses in one period to weaknesses in another period, and you can focus your instruction on one period, on one weakness. You know, if it's not the same in one class. If one class is struggling to factor trinomials where A is 1, you can focus there. If another class is struggling elsewhere, like a difference of 2 squares, then you could focus there. So if you make a copy for each period, and you do that right here, you go and then you click make a copy, make sure you change the name on it. And then it's just, I mean, you have a couple of forms, but you can make a folder in your Google Drive and just say factoring trinomial Google forms, and they'll all be right there. So I do encourage you to do that, to have last name so that you can put it in STI order. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to write down the grades, get them in the grade book. I also would encourage you to do separate Google Forms for each period so that you can see those weaknesses. I want to show you here where we go to item analysis, how you can see the bar of what your students got right and what your students got wrong. This is a really easy way to focus on which standards they had weaknesses in, because you can see like over half of your class right here got this one right, but you still had about 30% that got it wrong. So here you know that at least a third of your students, or about a third of your students, are struggling with this concept. So this is a really good feature. I also like the way that you separated these into multiple choice and free response, because those free response questions are really important when we talk about, do they know how they got the answer, rather than, oh, I was lucky and I picked C today. Because a lot of our students like to fly by the luck of their pants and the luck of the choosing. So I really liked that. I liked how you put different sections in there. And I also went in and looked at your free response questions, and I saw how you had, they had to type in exactly P plus 3 and P plus 5. I would encourage you to maybe put some more options there, as far as use X, because you know they're used to using X and Y. So if you put an option that has the X's in them instead of the P's, you're not counting those students incorrect that understand the concept, but just out of habit typed X instead of P. I would also encourage you to maybe put a response in there that has a space in between them, because even though your directions said no spaces, allowing for those are going to cut down on the amount of manual review that you have to do. Because, speaking of manual review, I like that you have it to where you do not release the scores until after you go back in and review their written response. That way, it's not shooting those questions back to them that they actually got right just because of the space bar. So it can cut down on a little bit of that for you, because it typically, when we go back and we review these, you only look at the ones that they got incorrect. So see, if I go to this one right here and I manually review the score, I have to scroll through every single free response that they got incorrect. I don't really check the ones that they got correct, because I know they got them correct. If you were to put more options for your correct answers, it would cut down on the amount of manual review that you have to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I really liked how you had this set up. I liked how you had it set up in sections. I also saw that you used the shuffle question bar that I told you about, and the shuffle progress and shuffle question bar. I also liked how you did not let them see their correct values or the point values in the missed questions. I like that, because if you give the same Google form to first period that you give to 7th period, if they can see the correct answers in first period, inevitably their best friend Jack or Susie down the hallway is going to end up with your correct answers before 7th period. So it's great if they go say, oh yeah, I missed 5 on that quiz, but I don't know what those 5 are. at least you've cut down on the amount of cheating. I know that sounds terrible, but with the technology, we really have to focus a lot on that. Overall, I think you did a great job. I can tell that you did some research on your own because I didn't even mention sections in my video. So kudos to you for taking it upon yourself to learn more about the technology. And I'm excited to see where you go from here.
Cool.